Let's call the April 16th TV Scott Free Library Board of Directors meeting to order. Do you have any correspondence you'd like to share with us this afternoon, Lori?
I just have a thank you from the Humane Society, our donation that we do ends up being we donate every week, but once a month we send it to a nonprofit. And then we just got 2 little messages in our suggestion box. I love this library. I love those notes.
Doesn't send it back.
And then very nice people and a great place to do homework.
Yes.
Oh. So,
That's
yeah.
nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Any public comment today? Guess not. Your pleasure on the minutes of March 19th regular meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Second. Motion made and seconded to approve the March 19th meeting minutes. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. How about your pleasure on the vouchers for March of 2025?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the vouchers for March. Any discussion on them? I like no surprises. All in favor of approval of the vouchers for March, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. And the unaudited monthly income and expense report.
Motion? I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the monthly income and expense report for March. Any discussion?
Mr. President?
Yes, ma'am.
Just on the second page, under supplies and expenses, the office supplies, so it's the second section. The office supplies, we're at 60% of our budget for the year, and it's only 25% of the year gone. And I'm just wondering, is there anything happening that is pushing it up that fast, or is it just a matter of timing? What's happening?
Yeah, actually.
It's me.
Oh.
The nonfiction books that we're categorizing, we're doing all of the categorizing and the labels now, so that when the bins come, all we have to do is change the call number and put them into the bin. So we have to buy a lot of the tape.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, label tape.
Perfect.
Mhm. Yeah, go through quite a bit. It's kind of expensive, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a one-time thing, so.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
thank you. That was all. Thank you, Mr.
Any
President.
other questions? All in favor of approval of the monthly income and expense report for March, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. Your pleasure on the monthly statistical report.
I'll make a motion to approve. 'Cause I love them.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the monthly statistical report. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
Just want to note that, interestingly enough, borrowers from outside the county is up, only by 1.6%, but up is not down. And interestingly enough, finally, fiction is suddenly going up. So some of the borrowing numbers for books are actually going up. Games are going up like mad, but I just wanted to point out that for anybody who thinks we're not reading, books are going up.
Is there a new trend in the teenagers that are reading a series?
Teens tend to do that, because once they
But there's a
find,
series though, right? Is
We have
that-
series,
that's
yeah.
new?
oh, is there a new series? Oh, there's always.
My granddaughter got hooked on some series and
Oh.
it's great. It doesn't, I mean, her thumbs are getting relaxed, you know? Anyway, any other questions or comments? All in favor of the statistical report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Zander Trust Agreement. All I can say is it's done and signed and sealed with no exceptions. Any questions? Has anybody got any questions?
Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing it.
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, and the signed document will be kept here in the
Yeah,
safe.
she's got the original.
So,
Cool, well done.
Good. And a discussion on the strategic goals. Here again, You guys should be congratulated on following up, you know, it's great.
Enhancing the library space.
Yep.
Anybody got any questions?
Question?
Okay.
All
How
right.
about the Wisconsin trustee essential, dealing with challenges?
I believe we updated our challenge policy
We
not too
did.
long ago, and so this was all pretty much familiar ground.
Yeah. Yeah. And knock on wood.
We can get out here in record time. Maybe you've got a real report, huh?
Ouch! Didn't pay that
It's nice and thick.
Because I had somebody else's report in there. There you go. How's that? So we just talking about it, you know, the events and things that are going on. I noted in here, Chad Lewis is always a very popular presenter here at the library, and of course he grew. I mean, once again, he brought in. We had 60 in attendance. I mean, his average is around 40, so he always brings in a great crowd, and it always increases our checkouts for that bizarre material too. Because the next few days, we had questions. You know, people were calling. You know, where's the Wisconsin Bizarre History book, and where's this? And I'm like, up in the Wisconsin room. Where's that? And I was like, I'll show you. So, yeah,
Because the
yeah.
news isn't bizarre.
Whatever it takes. Yeah, whatever it takes. Yeah, yeah. So that was good.
May I ask what he talked about?
It was the bizarre history of Wisconsin.
Is
Huh?
he the same gentleman that did the UFO?
Yes, he's
Okay.
done that.
We came to that.
He's
few
done
years ago.
ghost things and
Yeah,
So it's just generic,
Yeah.
bizarre history?
Yep, and then he did, and it was, I think that the one that night, they also, I think they talked about, they must have mentioned that statue out there, our lumberjack out there, because that was, someone asked about that shortly after that. And so, and he talks about some of the other programs he has done has been on the, you know, the history of the lumberjack industry in Wisconsin.
Right.
He just, yeah, and he's entertaining. I mean, he really is. People really enjoy listening to him, so he has a following for sure. For
it's
sure.
good that we can get him back regularly.
Oh, we do,
I
and we
know.
do. He contacts us every year. I have a new talk. I'm pretty sure we've had just about everyone he's got. So pretty soon we can start going back to the older ones. 'Cause, you know, we have new people coming in, and we can just, you know, start rotating all over again.
Bizarre stuff just keeps happening.
It just keeps happening. It does. That it does. And then, of course, some of the other highlights, I did mention the executive order that came across on INLIS. We're kind of we're just wait and see what happens. We are in a budget year for the state. As I mentioned somewhere in my report, I will be attending the event on April 29th in Wausau. I'm just not necessarily someone that will be up there talking, but I will be there in support of public libraries. We've had, in the past, we've been been fortunate in the state budget when it comes to libraries. We've had we've had great support. So we're hoping that will continue. Mary, of course, she's no longer on that committee, but she still has a lot of things to say. So she's still there. What else? Oh, the WBLS. I gave you some information on the director's report, so if anybody has any questions about that at all?
You know, with their reports, a lot of times they'll list everybody who's in attendance, and this time I didn't see that, but do we know who our representative now is?
Our representative, they have to go, so there's a process. We have to work with Renee Krieger,
Okay,
and at the May meeting is when that change will happen.
okay,
A letter of resignation has to be filed, and then
we can appoint
we
at
can
that
appoint.
point. Okay.
Yep. And right now, I mean, the individual that we have suggested is Kate Morris.
Right,
So, and that's when they'll make that recommendation.
Okay.
That must be their organizational meeting, huh?
Yeah, that's one of the, yeah. So, okay?
Great.
That's the
Thank you.
process, yep. So the Friends of the Library, they do have a date as of this, as of this weekend and this afternoon, earlier today. It's going to be May. We were looking at possibly June, but June is so rough here at the library with summer reading. It'll be the week of May 5th. So they'll start setting up in the afternoon on Tuesday, the Wednesday, the 7th will be, Thursday. The 8th will be the Friends of the Library book sale. And then it'll be open to the public on the 9th and the 10th. So that just happened this morning. Yeah. Let's see, next renovation project, we're winding down, just waiting for a few cabinet doors yet, things like that, some findings, some drapery for the windows, things like that, but it's getting there. And our contractor is working on the door situation, so we won't get a bill until that's all taken care of. So that's kind of what we're waiting for. Staffing report, we have someone that will start on Tuesday to replace Kay, who is retiring. Well, Kay requested that she just have something low-key here at the library with her friend, with the colleagues that she works with. So Friday we will have some stuff here for her and celebrate the time that she has spent here, and we won't miss all of the knowledge that she's taking with her, and she's trying to share that with some of us right now. So RFD project, they will be putting in the gate next week. And then, so that will start counting. We'll kind of get kind of a rough idea of how that people counter goes. We'll keep the other one in place until we know we're on an even keel there. And then we will work out details for the remainder of that project, which is tagging of the materials. And that will happen sometime in September, October. However, new materials as they come into the library, we will start doing that tagging once the gate is in. We have those tags here, so we can start that process a little bit. So, and then I attached something that I wanted to do for a while is as a library newsletter. It's just going to be a one-pager, front and back, and quarterly. And like I mentioned in my little spiel there, it might look different each month, but there will be some highlights, event highlights, some suggestions for book reads, we'll talk, and other things. So, and that's what I got. Cool. Questions, anyone?
I have a question.
Yes.
How much of our funding is federal?
How much of our funding,
The
our
library.
library?
If you do a pie chart.
So if you were to do our funding from the federal government comes through grants, the LST, primarily through LSTA grants. That's where we get money for computers that we have here. That is, a lot of the scholarships. So some of us have attended conferences and things of that nature. We apply for scholarships to attend those. The LSTA grant, for instance, a few years back, the Wisconsin Valley Library System offered up funding for certain libraries that needed to do upgrades to their circulation equipment. So that covered the cost for that work that's been done, and some libraries have
But
been.
do you know the percent that TV
Scott,
relies on
not
it?
off, oh boy.
Just curious.
Does it vary?
It vary, well, yeah, it'll vary from year to year. It just depends upon what we're looking at. I would have to say maybe if I were to look at 2024, maybe 10%, but that might be high.
And does your group that you belong to,
Mhm.
have they heard of any cuts coming down towards our level?
Not yet, and that's what we're kind of watching through DPI. I think what you'll see a great deal of is we will see a decline in support at the state level because some of those positions through the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction are funded through LSTA, or are funded through INLS. So I know of one person in particular, she is considered a youth services consultant or library services consultant for DPI. So if that funding is cut drastically, her position will be cut. And she is an individual that communicates with us on a regular basis for services throughout the state, for other funding opportunities throughout the state. I mean, that's just one instance where I know we would feel that. I mean, it's a person that also would take care of any of the staff training that goes on at conferences, or if they come to libraries. Library systems have these people come in and do trainings for their circulation equipment, for their cataloging, all of those types of things. We'll see a cutback on that support.
But we don't have a line item on that income. You know,
No.
it's not, you know, it's,
Yeah, and those funds typically come in that, we've got a line in there that's kind of a in and out type line for that type of funding, because it's not,
Public should be aware of what
Yeah.
that's done.
yeah. Okay. And I can definitely provide that information next month, so.
Any other questions or comments for tonight, this afternoon? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thanks again, everybody.